Things just aren't the same since our magic fountain shut off. It sure would help if you could find out what evil force is behind this disaster.
Hello, Loner. Good morning, more cowbell. What's up, guys? Hello, Dream Whisperer. Hello, Zalok. Good morning, Quanta. I mean, it's frickin' Doom. What do you want from me, Magister? Hi, Leander. Good morning, Casual. Why am I getting gems? Why, Dream Whisperer? If you don't mind my asking. Hello, Dakota. That's true, gems are addicting. I can attest to that one. Gems. Actually, it is one of those weird little things several games have had to decide over the years, is how exactly to do the sound design for picking up the collectible. You know, the rings in Sonic, the coins in a Mario game. That kind of a thing. Personally, okay, before I actually say anything, what's your favorite collect sound? You know, the little bling that plays whenever you pick something up. Hey, Durg. Hello, Materia Keeper. Don't worry, I remember you. Or do I? No, I do, I do. It is good to see you again. Cock of a gun. Which game does that one? I do think the rings in Sonic games is a good sound, so I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I can picture the Quake 1 sounds right now. The Jak and Daxter ones, yeah, I'll give you that one too. I don't know that one, Cashel. Good morning, Huthor. Or whatever it is for you. Since I know you're, what, 7 hours ahead of me? Something like that? I think. I don't remember. 8, 9, 32, something like that. Super Metroid doesn't quite do the same thing. Super Metroid has a jingle, which is a different mentality when it goes into designing it. Like a jingle is, "You got the thing" from Zelda. That's different. This is more than just the quick bloop. It's basically one quick sub-second sound effect that plays when you pick something up. We're good. But I've noticed nobody's mentioned my personal favorite. Hello? Ah, there we go. My personal favorite is actually Donkey Kong Country. The banana sound. There's just something incredibly satisfying about the way they did it. It's basically very similar to your typical coin pickup with a little more bass to it. clunk. Good morning, Ice Tray. Well, I will probably never forgive you for that one, Huthor. God. Oh my goodness. Right, I actually do need something here. Orbs! I need like 12 more orbs. Whoops, hello.
Ah, oh, I must have dozed off there. Golly, looks like I let the fountain switch off. Here, take this orb and, don't mention my little nap to Hydra, okay?
No, Leander. Actually, I got another one for you. Pretty much all the Ratchet and Clanks. When you pick up bolts, there's just kind of a really extremely quick but very deep kind of clunk, 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 clunk that plays. And I think it's actually a varied sound effect, so there's actually like 5 or 6 sound effects, and it varies between them. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
Ah, Spyro, a friendly face. A bunch of rotten thieves have stolen my spark plugs, and I'm stuck here. Please get the 4 plugs back.
Hey, it's Basil. Or Basil, probably. Oh, you're right, we didn't actually... That would have been cool to test that Dakota, but whatever. Apparently, yet another thing I screwed up in that premiere run. Hello, Sakage. Good evening? Morning? Neutral. Good time. No, I'm playing a dog, Magister. I'm sorry. We're playing a little baby dragon who has got some 90s attitude. You can tell because, I mean, look at him. Congrats, Trinius? Yeah, I think we'll go with congrats on that one. Congrats. Whoops. Oh, God, I can't see where I'm going. And we're dead. Instant death. Where are we at? I remember the Croc games, but I don't remember the sound effect. I'm not even sure I've played the Croc games. Can I just say I do hate quests like these? Just absolutely despise. Hello. Ugh, there we go. The Mario series has done the purple as a shorthand for poison water for quite some time, unfortunately. It's really common at this point. God damn it, game. And we die again! 3 deaths to the exact same thing within about 5 feet of each other. So you're probably wondering what happened there. Well, you may or may not remember that in order to dash and then shoot, I readjust how I'm holding it to this. But in order to jump, hop, and then hover, I have to readjust to this. So I wasn't prepared to do that, basically. and died. To simplify. Oh, I saw that, Morkelbo. Here's hoping we will never get 1.0. God damn it! As a thing. Because 1.0 was terrible and deserves to stay gone forever. I really hate quests like these. I really do. In fact, I think I'm gonna give up. Well, here's hoping that 1.0 stays dead forever, because... Ugh! Look, I'm sorry. 1.0 is dog crap. In my opinion. Why? No, Darth Trinius, and hopefully there never will be. There's actually kind of a it's semi-complicated. I'll tell you about it in a minute. But yeah, so I mean, I don't like WoW Vanilla, and I'm pretty honest about that opinion. But at least WoW Vanilla has some merit to it existing. And there's people who legitimately enjoy WoW Vanilla. Or, well, hypothetically, there are people who legitimately enjoy WoW Vanilla. FF14 1.0 was awful. Like, lamentation level awful. That's ignoring the obvious, appropriation of resources problem. What would it take to get me to play Warcraft 3 100%? How do you define 100% Warcraft 3, James Hogan? A Witcher 3.
Some consolation that you've collected so many orbs. My high-tech portal here will take you to cloud temples.
Yeah, see, Huthor probably, maybe, will like WoW Classic. There you go. So that's one person in the entire world. I'm kidding. But I do believe there are people who are interested in WoW Classic. I don't understand why. But then again, I don't understand why people like Beatles. I don't understand why people like Slapstick. And I don't understand why some people like black licorice. So, I mean, I get it, kinda. Intellectually, I get it. Oh, you're an enemy. Oh, okay. Well, die then. That was gonna be nice. Anyway, so first and foremost... Thank you very much, Eric. Welcome to the 2-year club, by the way. Enjoy the new badge. Hopefully it is suitably shiny. As usual, if you know what you want to put that towards, you could be like, hey, lore, put it towards such and such, and I'll be like, okay. But what it would take for me to 100% Witcher 3... It wouldn't be 23 million, because that number is I'm basically putting my job on the line to do something ridiculous or horrible that I don't want to do. But basically, that sounds like I'd need you to give me, let's say $10,000. 10,000 bucks. That would be my price range for that. Now, Ice Tray asked a question too. I need to scroll up. Actually, you're not, Eric. Funnily enough. Whoops, that's the wrong document. That's from the cooking show thing. I made taquitos. You'll see in about 3 weeks. Okay. Now, what did I stray asked? What would I recommend to someone who does not play MMOs but is interested in either FF14 or ESO? Okay, so I would recommend you start with ESO, because I personally think ESO is a little bit better than FF14. Now, I know that's, you know, sacrilege and all that, whatever. But the hard truth is that FF14 is a game that I tolerate to enjoy the story, whereas ESO has moderately enjoyable gameplay, and barely better gameplay, and, you know, is an Elder Scrolls story game. So, that's my opinion on that one. Is he gonna talk to me? Is he frozen in place? Yeah, whatever. I suppose I should add, I assume you're letting me use a walkthrough, James Hogan. If you are not allowing me to use a walkthrough, we're just going to tack that up to 15,000. We have the tech for a Daggerfall proper remake right now. We arguably have for several years. But it's not actually that big, Loner. And to be perfectly blunt, okay, there's only 2 ways to think of that. Way number 1, a proper remake of Daggerfall, which basically means removing the random procedurally generated aspect of the overworld, which is what I would do, by the way. So, that's the first option. The second option is to go ahead and randomly generate it, which we could do 20 years ago. So one way or another, yeah, no, we're good on that. No matter how you slice that. I usually call that a 90% run, James Hogan. Oh, you assholes! Perfect timing there. Because a 90% run for me is usually what I refer to as doing all content. A 100% run is when you get everything. At least one of everything. Like, I've only ever done 2 100% runs of FF6, for example. One on the SNES and one on the GBA. Yeah, exactly, Xbody. Like, having all the Gwent cards, like, making sure you get at least one of every item, making sure you craft everything at least once. You know, 100%ing. Make sure you have all the armor sets. Blah, 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 blah. That would be a 100% run.
I'm a secret agent. I'm going to my secret hideout. Only members of my secret club are allowed to go there. I'm not leaving unless you hide behind that tree so you can't see me.
Okay. Hi, Vigilant. He has really weird jumps.
I'm too fast for anyone to follow. No one will ever find my...
What? Apparently I was going too slowly, despite being immediately behind him. Don't worry, we got one more game to go through. I was tossing around the idea of going ahead and switching around my premiere run order, and instead of doing Stellaris next, doing Bloodstained next, which actually comes out today. Hopefully we'll finish Spyro tomorrow. That's actually the current plan. Is finishing Spyro tomorrow. We'll see.
What? You managed to get here without following me? You must be a member of my secret club after all. Here, take this secret decoder. It will allow us to send secret messages.
I don't think that's actually what's going to do. Absolutely not, Duralis. And yes, I've been asked that many times. I have never done a stream of Vampire the Masquerade, although I have done a rumination of it, which I'm pretty sure is live as of now. Pretty sure. Apparently it's a good video. I'll have to take Uthor's word on that one. I got a lot of people in the comments section debating the nature of generations and what caused what to happen where, and it was some interesting thought discussion. Really? Dream Whisperer. That's funny. No, it's because I'd rather sew out my own eyeballs with sewing needles than do it.
Spyro, you have freed our city from the claws of those evil warlocks. Please, take this orb. I foresee that it will help you on your journey.
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, no offense to anybody who's actually interested in WoW Classic, but I am extremely not. I figured it out at one point in time how many characters I leveled through WoW Vanilla. It was in the double-digit range. And really, that's all I have to say about why I have no interest in WoW Vanilla. It was something that I tolerated when it came out, and then I leveled like 11 or so more characters through it. I'm very, very, very sick of it, you know? And I've never stopped being sick of it. Well, that was when I was in a wheelchair loaner. So. And jobless immediately after that. Then I got a job sitting on my ass doing nothing. So yeah, I suppose you could say I had a lot of spare time.
Our mystical bell towers have been overrun by trolls, and the bells haven't been rung in days. I tried a fire spell on the trolls, but that just made them crazier. This Super Freeze power-up will chill out the trolls, but we really need the bells to ring. They'll ring if you charge into them.
Okay, that looks cool. Looks pretty cool. Oh no, Adam Suda. No, no, no. I let my sub run out back in January. And I stopped playing back in December. I mean, in my defense, like, the further on I worked at that job, the more I actually had to do. But, right at the beginning, yeah, I did nothing. And I'm more than man enough to admit that I did nothing for a living. I was worthless. More worthless than I am now, I mean.
I suppose you want an orb for doing that. Well, I'm afraid not. There's still one bell left. You can get to it by using the whirlwind behind me.
Well, thanks, buddy. Could have given me that earlier, but, you know, whatever. That is super not true, Malachor. Oh, you mean Spyro? Yeah, Spyro looks cool. Spyro's cool. Damn. Damn it. It better. Oh, come on. Really? Alright, fine. Hang on. Oh, it's going okay. Hazardous. I'm gonna have delicious leftover taquitos tonight. That's crazy, talk to Quota.
Thanks, Spyro. I didn't think you could do it. Here, have a souvenir from the Cloud Temple's gift shop.
Why was that in the gift shop? Yeah, I think I'm officially going to take away that story positive. I just keep giving it more and more and more and more chances to actually be funny. And it just keeps failing. Sorry if you can hear that. That would be the rain. So that leaves us with a total story, positives and negatives, of 0 so far. I know what you're thinking. What are you expecting, Lord? It's Spyro. Well, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Any game, every game, could be improved by the inclusion of good story. Doesn't mean it's necessary. Doesn't mean it's mandatory. But I do think every game could be improved by good story. Hi, Tom Cruise Bomb Shoes. Yeah, I was able to install it earlier. And in probably about 3-4 weeks, we'll actually play it. So that's 2 in there. 3 in this, go there. Yeah, I know, it's weird. Like, it's almost like I don't think loot boxes should be added to any video game ever. Hey, Sour Cookie. Spyro Trilogy. Easy answer. Oh, it's just another shortcut back to the other levels. Worlds. We're still in 2. Yep, okay. Well, let's head to the farmlands. Oh, excuse me, yes, we don't sell games anymore. We sell live services. But they're made of metal. And he died. Huh. Right. So welcome to the Ratchet and Clank world.
Howdy, Spyro. These here pests have infested our farm. Could you find the time to help us get rid of them? Find your way over to the giant bug lamp and turn it on so we can zap any more invading pests.
Sure. A Machinarium, yeah. Yes, I did, Huthor. In fact, I did a rumination on it. And I got quite a bit of flack for that video, let me tell you what. Can you guess why? Because I bet you can. I mean, yeah, obviously I liked it, but... more than that. I guess we'll go this way now. Well, thank you, Tom Cruise Mom Shoes. If he were there, I'm sure he'd like that too. Yep! I thought it was better than the original. I still think that, by the way. I mean, obviously, my opinion hasn't changed. I don't see why it would. Oh, and for the record, I played the original immediately before or after, I forget which, but it was within the same week. I played the original, then I played the remake. So it wasn't a distance thing. How'd I like the final boss? He's basically the source of those 2 gameplay negatives, Saldir. And that really should say all it needs to. Oh, I didn't beat him, too. Go ahead, Uthor. I'm ready. What's that music I hear? Man. But no, I did legitimately like the new one better than the old one. And I can explain why, too. Because it's a bunch of little things. It's not like one big thing. I do think the original did one thing better than the new one, too. Just the one. Yeah, no, I hated it, Saldir. It was so many different types of bad level design and boss design and just... ugh. Damn. The story better? Yes, absolutely. And without hesitation. Funnily enough, I would say the story is one of the few things that was demonstrably improved, as in better in basically every way. I mean, I liked the voice acting better. I liked the intro a lot better. I liked where they were taking the characters better. I liked the characters in general better. I liked how Ratchet was less of an asshole better. Like, one of the things... No, I don't think so, Dakota. One of the things that really bothered me about the first game was that Ratchet was an asshole. And I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of tolerance for that kind of character. You dick. I mean, excuse my language, but seriously, I wanted to slug him several times. I also feel like his turnaround, oh my god, we need to help people, was last minute and out of nowhere. There was no actual character arc there. It's just all of a sudden someone flipped a switch, and he stopped being a dick out of nowhere. So in short, I like the new Ratchet better in literally every way than the old Ratchet. Now, having given my opinion on it, why do you say that they ruined Ratchet? Unless it's because they changed him, in which case we're in agreement on that part. Damn it. I really hate those enemies. I mean, it was prompted Huthor, but again, he literally... And again, I've replayed this game relatively recently, and I replayed it straight for the Rumination. He went from, I'm a dick, I'm a dick, I'm a dick, I'm a dick, small gameplay section, oh no, we have to help people. It literally was a switch. Just one switch, bam. So whether it was built up or not, which is something I'll at least grant debatable, there's no debating the fact that it was just a sudden and abrupt change. Seriously, replay the game, you'll see what I mean. And you liked that. Oh, okay. See, that I can understand. What Huthor is saying is, but Lore, it's good because it has licorice in it. And I'm saying, God, I hated it because it had licorice in it. See, it's important to reach these points. I also think they did a much better job with... Oh my god, I can't think of his name. Captain Dude. I can't think of his name. Quark, that's it, Captain Quark. Hey, Hoo-Girl. Oh, now that Hoo-Girl's here, I'm sorry, I actually have to bow out, guys. I've decided that I'm gonna cut the stream early. I'm kidding. I like what they did with Corporate Face a bit better, too, in the remake. Those are the three character changes I'd say were, in my opinion, for the better. I have no idea what Brave Browser is, James Hogan. So I suppose I'll look into that. I did like Nefarious quite a bit. Oh yeah, just because I was asked this during the Rumination, I never actually had a chance to answer it. I didn't actually watch the movie for the Rumination. In fact, I did finally watch the movie like 2 years later with my niece. For the record, I liked the movie too. I mean, it was not as good as the game, but I liked it.
These darn bugs are making a joke of my expensive robot scarecrows. Can you chase them down and flame them, Spyro?
I mean, I'll never watch it again. Man, I love chase missions. Don't you guys? At least I actually understand your point, Uthor. A lot of the people who bashed me on the comments section didn't really give a lot of reasoning. The only main reasoning that people kept saying was that the level design was worse in the remake, which I don't actually agree with. I will agree that it was lesser, as in there was... Oh my god, this is timed. As in, there was literally less levels in the remake. But I don't think it was worse, personally.
My fields are safe from those flying vermin, Spyro. Take this doodad I done dug up yesterday.
Damn it, Who Girl. Stop working so much. And hi, Permius. I would actually agree with you on that, Uthor. Although, again, isn't that one of the values of doing a remake? To use another example, and I know I use this example a lot, but if they were to do a remake of Mega Man 1, they would have the opportunity of building off of the development of Mega Man 2 through 11 in order to develop Mega Man 1, right? Now, they didn't do that with the remake we did get of Mega Man 1, but at least the remake that we did get for Mega Man 1 was enjoyable, so that's something. So in a hypothetical, they could do that. Actually, I got a better example. Maverick Hunter X. That's a better example of them actually doing a remake of a game and using later characterization to work on it. And yes, I have played Powered Up. In fact, I have 90%ed Powered Up solo. And despite some issues with Powered Up, some very serious issues with Powered Up, I do think it's actually an excellent Mega Man game, and I highly recommend it to anybody interested in the franchise. I mean, they're demonstrably better, so look. I suppose I should add, in my opinion, to that, but, you know. You could tell that people who actually did level design worked on them, let's put it that way. I could see that, Uthor. I admit that doesn't bother me, because I'm kind of a get-along-with-everyone sort of a guy in general, but I can see where you're going with that. Well, yeah, because each game is basically the same game, Blue Girl. That's one of the reasons why I'm basically rating this as a singular game rather than 3. Because, I mean... at least there's new mechanics and functionality in 2. I don't know if there is in 3. I'm obviously not there yet. I'd like to get there today, but, you know, we'll see. I'm not going to reach that. Sadly, I think 1 didn't sell well enough or something, because I haven't even seen a hint of them working on a remake for Ratchet & Clank 2 or 3 or 8 or 17 or whatever. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Zalot. Of course he does, Who Girl. He's from the 90s. All right. Yeah, the problem it's the same reason it's the same problem several other video game companies had made over the years. They went into a movie. And movies are expensive as hell. One 90-minute movie often costs more than a full 30-hour game to develop. Because Hollywood, because the entire industry is baked and built around cycling enormous quantities of money around itself on a regular basis. I actually thought about doing that, Tessie, but then I realized that I would need to be able to see. I guess I could try it for a bit, sure. Why not? On a level where I don't know where to go and I'm already turned around and lost, I'm gonna do this. This is totally gonna work out well. See, the thing is, if I was a 90s character who looked like this, I'd be the bad guy. Just give me a fake cigarette. Or a cigar. Hang on. Nope, okay. Yeah, one of the little tidbits about the Final Fantasy Spirits Within movie I always like to mention to people, because not a lot of people talk about this, is that it caused so many financial issues for Square that Enix temporarily backed out of their merger with Square. I sometimes wonder what would have happened if Square Enix had become a thing, you know, when it was supposed to. If Final Fantasy Spirits Within had not delayed that merger. Yeah, okay, so I don't know where to go, guys. Help out. What? Help. What? Like, I need to get up. That's the general goal, but I can't see anywhere to actually get up. Except for these things, which I don't know how to start those. And these things, which I have no idea what to do with those. Alright, Huthor, hit me. I'm ready. Is it because the tools and kits were amazing and very fun to play with? No, it wasn't, of course. They ruined Rhino. Who's Rhino? Oh, the gun. Okay, yeah, I get you. Yeah, don't do anything. I'm out of ideas. And no one's saying anything, so we're out. Moving on. Like, I have finite time and very little patience, and I've already run through the level 3 times, seeing nothing. Moving on. Yeah, no kidding, Dakota. That is a plus I've given the game, for the convenience features.
I can see you've learned the value of orbs, Spyro.
Blah, 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 blah. Is it on the website? Because if it's on the queue, it's on the website. And if it's not in the queue, it's actually also on the website. Just in a different area. Okay.
This insurrection from the farms has got quite out of hand. We need someone to restore order. Find the inventor droid. She's been working on something big. all the budget cuts, these elevators need serious work. See, this one here is stuck. I expect it will start working again if you just give it a good whack, though.
That's not good design. Why are the cows rebelling? Why do the cows have ray guns? Fair, Tessie. Yeah, no, most people have been putting their money towards Cyberpunk lately. Which is funny, because we don't even have a release date. Oh, no, we do have a release date, but sorry. What we do have is like 9 months before it comes out. And Cyberpunk is already the most put towards run we've ever had. As far as people, not as far as money. No, Ghost of Tsushima is still the most funded run we've ever had, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to check the records on that one. But I'm pretty sure. Which, by the way, we don't even have a release date for Ghost of Tsushima. Hey, look, it's not my fault you guys keep breaking your own records, Dakota. Although, honestly, I actually agree with you on that one, Dakota. We have been getting a lot more people who, you know, have only started subbing or donating recently, you know, people who have been subbers for 3 months or 5 months or whatever, rather than the people who have been with us for a long time.
Ah, Spyro, I heard you were coming. Thank you for your efforts in thwarting this attempted coup. Please take this item, which living creatures seem to like.
Sure. Thanks. But yeah, it's not...
First for Avalar, a combination power-up. Thank goodness you're here to test it out. These invading sheep in their spaceships must be stopped.
Probably in about 9 months, James Hogan. Almost a year from now.
Excellent work. You knocked those sheep right out of the sky. Take this orb device as proof of your skill.
Thanks. But yeah, about a month before release is the idea, James Hogan.
I knew it. Those first sheep sent out a distress call. The next wave of saucers is incoming.
Okay. Why do the sheep... You know what, whatever. Not gonna question. Not gonna question it. Honestly, Cyberpunk... I was actually thinking about it recently. I don't think there's any other releases coming out anytime in the next year, other than Cyberpunk, of course, which will have that do we wait vote going for it. I couldn't think of any anyways. Could you guys think of any? Like, I'm gonna go and ask you right now. Because I couldn't come up with any.
Nice flying, Airman. You've proven the genius of my double power-up invention. Here, keep this to commemorate your victory.
Thanks. VTM Bloodline? Well, I mean, that's next year and after Cyberpunk, but yeah. So VTM Bloodline 2, FF7R, probably. Well, that's the idea, James Hogan. It was actually something that was suggested by you guys, not me. Basically, it's one of those things I like to call a lose-lose scenario. If I stream the day of, then I'm going to be missing out on viewers and interest and feedback from people who are actively playing it and don't want to be spoiled on it. If I do not stream the day of, I'm missing out on people and viewers who are interested in seeing it who either haven't bought it yet or aren't sure if they want to buy it, or just people randomly browsing Twitch to see what they can find. No matter what I do, I'm going to lose out on viewers, so... For the really large runs, for the ones that have a whole lot of public interest, that's the runs I go ahead and say, alright, we'll do a poll. Do you want me to delay, yes or no? Which is why I said I can't think of any coming out in between now and next March. How much of a delay? Depends on the specifics of scheduling, but usually about a week. Like, if Kingdom Hearts 3 was actually, like, 10 days, I wanted to say, not 11 days. Just under 2 weeks. But that was because of scheduling. Okay, thank you, Easel. Where were you earlier, man? Completely lost in the farm level. Thank you. This way, I think?
As you can see, a vicious ox has taken over our armory, and here we thought that freezing the walkway would keep animals out. The ox is very tough. I would advise using the bombs against it, and it will probably take several bombs at that.
What? Did you see that? Okay, I'm gonna blow it this way. Like, I'm hitting it dead on. But it's like, no, I'm just gonna go to random angle. Like that. Why does it go to random angle? Yeah, whatever. Yes, I did, Valvedrix. They were funny at first, and then they stopped being funny. Then they started being actively irritating. So the plus is removed, and if they're not careful, they're going to get a negative too, because god dang it. Well, then I won't add a negative. I'll be nice and not add a negative. I'm not adding a negative for Hunter either.
Excellent work, Dragon. We can now defend our city properly. Take this visually pleasing reward.
Even though I want to. That is a good question, Zalog. Let's not ask. Let's pretend that question doesn't exist. All orbs collected. Woo! See, that's not funny. To me, obviously. Yeah, let's go and do the farms. See if we can figure out where the hell we're supposed to go. Yes, it's very 90s. No, I'm with you, Takoida. Like, sometimes they just do slapstick for slapstick's sake, which... Okay. They apparently repeat, too. Congratulations, Permeus. Alright, where do I go, Easel?
Howdy, Spyro. Fun?
Windmill near the seesaw. Okay. Oh, that's true, Easel. So we got one more of those cutscenes to watch. Yeah, what starter games did you get, Permeus? God damn it. I hate those enemies. Okay. Now what? Enemy count. Already had the enemy. Okay, fine. It's fine, it's fine. We'll just kill everyone. What? Oh. I don't even see that guy. Now we really do have to kill everyone. Okay. What's the number I need? Because I haven't even seen the gateway. Alright. I think it's all the enemies in this area. Oh, I think I'm missing one. Yep, there he is. There. That's all the enemies in this area. Hello, Gum Gum. Everything must die.
varmints won't be coming near our crops now. Can I offer you a reward?
Yes, I want that suit. That suit looks fabulous. Look at that thing. Look at it. Behold the vision of glory.
I used to drive my tractor all around the farm, but some fool robot blocked the path up. Do you think you could clear things up with a bit of supercharge?
Well, I could try. Ugh. Oh, thank goodness, Easel. I don't know Takoida, but he's certainly trying a goofy impression. Oh. Speaking of falling. I guess I didn't actually fall all the way. Damn. Whoa, whoa there, Spyro. No, go the direction I want you to go in. So where's this so-called whirlwind? Or did you lie to me? No, Easel, you wouldn't! Or would he? He absolutely would. He lied to me. Well, time to stab Easel. I get. Oh, never mind. We're okay. We're okay, guys. We don't have to stab Easel. Whew. Thank goodness. Is that a real question, Ice Ray? Why wouldn't he be? Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, Stadia's old news at this point. Oh jeez. Nope. But yeah, when did this happen? Yesterday. Because he don't take no guff. Do I like it? I mean, I don't think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Yeah, no, I've heard of stupider things. I think. Oh, that's true. All the Bravest was stupid. There you go. We've thought of one thing that's stupider than Google Stadia. What's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of? Let's see. I was actually going to make the joke answer of burning down Teldrassil. Oh, I have to just make the jump, don't I? Oh. Oh, that sucks. Oh. Basically every reason, Gum Gum. Like, I know that sounds like a cop-out. Okay. But no, basically everything about Google Stadia is wrong. It's way too early, the infrastructure is not in place, there's issues with ownership, there's issues with preservation, there's issues with licensing, there's issues with hardware. This is awful. Oh, God, this is terrible. Hi. Let's see, what else? I hit preservation, ownership, infrastructure, hardware. God dang. I need to... In fact, where's my Kleenex? Old gamer trick. You play a game and you need to be really precise, right? Like, usually only for a really hard game or a challenge run or a speed run. Your thumbs get just a little bit slick. Plain old Kleenex is one of the best things to dry up your thumbs so you'll grip the fingers properly. So you grip the buttons, properly. Usually when I would actually do speedruns, I'd usually have a Kleenex right there ready to go just to rub on my thumb a little bit. Hey, you guys said I have to wear the sunglasses. I gotta do this with sunglasses on. Tessie made me. I got no choice. The hardest part is the jumps. Those jumps suck. Oh, that's horrible hazardous. Yeah, no, ever since I was a kid, I've been very anti getting gunk on the controllers. You could say that's mostly because of, you know, my mother, who ingrained within me a sense of ownership, stewardship, maintenance, etc. But it's also because of the fact that I like to play my games without my controller being gunky. Oh, weird, right? Oh, I didn't know where I was going. I was just doing that one blind. So I know where I'm going now. Oh my goodness. Right, I need to... Oh, come on!
Dragon. Here, take this thingamajig I found in the cow pen.
I did it, Tessie. Tessie's not even watching. It's all thanks to the Kleenex. That's not even really joking. I'm telling you, the Kleenex trick is a real trick.
Oh! Hey, hey!
See, that's not even slapstick at that point. That's not clever. It's not funny. It's not slapstick. It's not anything. It's just, look, we got the bug zapper working. Yeah, no. Let's go beat the game. Then move on to the next game. Where I can hopefully take these sunglasses off. I've actually been pretty impressed with the previous two bosses, so I'm hopeful. It can't possibly be worse than the first final boss, right? Right.
Spyro. Now that you've got the orbs, Ripto's demise is only moments away, right? Right? Well, anyway, good luck. He's right through this door.
Yeah.
Aww.
Come back here, you useless animals!
Hey, Shorty, maybe I can help.
What? You again?
Yup. If you want to test that power crystal, why don't you try it on me? I'll stand still, I promise.
I like that idea. Dragon, you've just sealed your fate.
Okay. I'm just poking fun, Desi. You know, Tessie's like, "Mwahaha! I got him to die horribly."
Spyro, we want to help you fight Ripto. Elora is using the orbs you collected to store power-up energy. Hunter will throw the powered-up orbs to you as they become ready. Even as we speak, the professor is experimenting with new forms of power-up energy, so you'll soon have abilities that no one has ever seen before.
I'm sure glad that Ripto is literally standing back there cackling maniacally to give them a chance to exposit to me. So he has iframes, that's worth noting. Okay. I actually kind of like the fact that he can get the power-ups too, because that's actually logical. I literally lost him there. For the record, none of this camera control is me. If anybody's curious. Hi, Sonoshi. Basically, I'm kind of at the whim of the camera here. Phase 2. I was kidding. Well, shoot. wondering if there's a reason my so-called ally Hunter is consistently dropping them by the enemy. I'm really starting to think Hunter actually is a villain here. Oh yeah, just because I didn't realize this fight would take this long. Let's go and do that. Just for you, Easel. Phase 3. The fact that there's no checkpoints on this boss is awful, by the way. Just want to say that really quick. Wow, he has hella iframes. Oh my god, he has iframes. Ooh. Weird, because he didn't earlier. Whoop, wrong button. Literally the wrong button there. Please tell me that's it. I was at 1 health, by the way.
I don't think we could ever thank you enough, Spyro. I suppose you have to go now?
Yeah, I better. They'll be missing me in the Dragon Worlds, and I've still got a vacation to take. I need it more than ever now.
I mean, you can come with.
Before you go, I think that Moneybags has something he wants to give you.
I most certainly do not.
Hunter? Spyro, Moneybags is very sorry that he made you pay so much on your way through Avalar. We want you to keep the gems as a reward for helping us.
Wow, thanks. Sparks, can you grab them?
Let me just type in the new coordinates and there. Spyro, you can now go to Dragon Shores.
Hey, why don't you guys come with me? I bet you could use a holiday.
I'm afraid we can't, Spyro. Ripto may be gone, but he caused a lot of damage during his short stay. We'll be cleaning up for weeks. Just remember, though, that you can always get back to Avalar from Dragon Shores if you want to visit.
Well, okay. Come on, Sparks. We got a lot of vacation to catch up on. Yeah.
No, honestly, yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and codify the...
Welcome to Dragon Shores, Spyro. Sorry, but I can't let you into our little park until you found more of the gems and orbs hidden throughout Avalar. Good luck.
Well, anywho... I think I'm going to codify the 2 additional positives that 2 brought. Basically, level design and boss design. So let's move on to the 3rd game, shall we? Still no story positives, and I'm holding myself back from giving a story negative. You know, weirdly, I haven't thought of any gameplay negatives either, other than the 2 big ones. Not really, Easel. Although which... Oh, you mean here. Anyways. I give up. This game's too hard. Alright, wow me. In a world where evil plots unfold. Loading screen. Oh, yeah. In a world where people steal dragon eggs because dragons are boring and dumb, and sleep all day. No, Balvadrix. However, that is part of the plus that already exists.
Huh? Get her! Stop her!
Why is Hunter here? No one else. Just Hunter.
We managed to capture the eggs, Your Highness. Every last one.
Excellent. Maybe you will amount to something after all. Now go guard the tunnels. Stop anyone from coming through.
Not anymore, Lycon. We got rid of it. King K. Rool.
The holes came out on the other side of the dragon worlds. We found some of the eggs, but they were too heavy to carry back.
The other side of the world?
The Forgotten Realms.
We're going to Faerun?
You'll have to go. Nobody else can fit down the holes.
Yeah, come on, let's go!
Find the eggs and bring them back, Spyro. You're our only chance.
You got it! Yeah.
I guess it would be Queen K. Rool, wouldn't it? Oh, I guess I should start getting gems again, since, you know, new game, and I'm probably gonna need them. Listen, we know the real reason the dragons won't help us. It's because they're lazy. Incredibly lazy. Hey, one of the eggs. Well, that was easy. Oh god, it's Spyro 1 again. Kind of. Okay, I can make that work. Look, I blew all my gems at that vacation, okay? It's not my fault sea salt ice cream tastes just that good, alright?
Hi, Spyro. To look left or right, use the right stick. To quickly center the camera...
We're gonna start skipping through some of those tutorials.
So, you're the one in charge of rescuing the eggs, huh? How sad. Look here, Dragon. If you know what's good for you, you'll turn around and crawl back into that hole you came through. Those eggs belong to us now, and I've hidden them in places you'll never find in 1,000 years. Besides, even if you could find any eggs, our expertly trained armies would hunt you down and take them back. Do I make myself clear? If I find you here again, I am going to be very angry, and you won't like me when I'm angry.
Okay. See you around, Bianca. So she's gonna turn out to be a good guy. What do you want to bet? Oh, hey, Moneybags.
Spyro! My, how funny to see you here. Why, I haven't seen you since we defeated Ripto in Avalar.
Mere minutes ago.
My business went into a slump after you left, so I came here and struck up a nice deal with the local sorceress. Lovely woman she is. Seems to be very fond of dragons, too. The sorceress has asked me to guard Sheila the kangaroo. I suppose if you had a bit more money, I'd be willing to let her escape. Then you could keep her for a pet or something.
300. So, what gave it away? What I like to call the specific thing is the Fire Emblem effect. You know what it is, right? The evil villains always look like they're evil villains. They're ugly or grotesque, or they have sneering faces. And then every now and again, amongst the evil army, you'll see someone who looks perfectly normal, or actually heroic, you know, and they've got, yes, I am definitely an evil person. It's like, no, that guy's gonna be recruitable. Every time.
Do you like the active camera mode?
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of exceptions, but in every Fire Emblem game I've played, that's been a thing. So, shrug. And also, she's literally designed like a protagonist. I mean, if you just look at her visual presentation. In fact, I actually thought she was a protagonist until the obviously evil people showed up and started following her orders.
I'm late for a dinner party at the Tiki Lodge, and the portal to my home just stopped working. Maybe the portal will reactivate after a few more dragons hatch.
Right.
I see an egg at the bottom of this lake. I would go get it, but I don't want to get my fur all wet. Maybe you could get it. You can dive underwater by pressing...
Hey, you can swim still. Woo. Hatch! Hatch! Wow, Easel. Hopefully I won't run into that, since, you know, I am playing a very legitimate version, which I can produce both a receipt for and the physical copy of, since I'm playing on the PS4. I do almost find it weird how we retain all of our abilities so far, which brings me to my question. Was it that way in the originals? Oh, the original version. Gotcha. So it was that way in the originals. Interesting. I admittedly like that idea. It's something Mega Man X barely touched the surface of. In other words, the idea being that you plan out to, you know, introduce new mechanics and new abilities, but not all of them. Like, imagine if in a Devil May Cry you got, say, maybe half the abilities you do throughout the game. Just rough number off the top of my head. And then you kept all of those in the next Devil May Cry game. You know, that kind of idea. I do like that idea. And of course, I would love that idea in a Mega Man game. Although it's a lot harder to do in a Mega Man game, I still think it could be doable. Okay.
Yo, Spyro! I just found one of those portal thing in the jigs that leads to a different world, but you'll have to glide to get across to it. Press the jump button, then...
How long would you say 3 is relative to the previous 2 games, just in length? If you can even guesstimate it. If you can't, that's fine.
I saw something shiny in that cave over there. Let's go...
Yes, I know how to hover glide. I've been doing it this whole time. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Oh, I almost forgot. I found this egg.
Oh my god, Hunter.
This is a Superfly power.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and say this real quick. I already don't like this collectathon thing versus the previous 2. In the first game, it was dragons, and they had a little clip, and they had a little visual design. That was neat. Basic, but neat. In 2, we had several things we were collecting, and I was kind of with them. And this one, they're just an egg that hatches. Like, it feels like they're like, it's here. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. I mean, at least they each have a different visual design. But, I mean, that's... And that's it! I mean, we'll see what I think of it going forward. But so far, I think 2 is actually going to be my favorite based on the construction here. We'll see. We'll see. It's obviously way too early to really tell. Sure, Gum Gum, I guess. Which type of Zelda game? For there are 3. Where am I? So I've got 2 worlds I could go into. Still missing a few gems. Alright, Easel. I will. Ocarina. I think.
I'm getting paid a fortune to keep Sheila the... Don't worry, Spyro. Sheila won't stay in jail forever. Sorceress is thinking about having her executed next Thursday.
Sure. Let's go and do this now.
I'm getting paid. Ah, Spyro, I love your sweet naivete. Your kind-hearted nature might be your downfall someday, but for the time being, it's making me rich. I hope you appreciate this favor I'm doing in letting you out.
That's good of you, mate. No hard feelings, eh?
Right. After all, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah. I reckon you be one of them dragons then.
Yeah, named Spyro.
Never thought I'd see one. You dragons used to rule this entire world, you know? Then all of a sudden you left. Poof!
Dragons used to live here?
Didn't you know? They say it was over 1,000 years ago, I think.
Of course it is.
They just left?
Yeah, and the weird thing is, after they left, all the magic in the world just sort of went with them. I mean, they say this world used to have magic coming out of the wazoo. Flying ships, singing forests, wishing stones, you name it. But when the dragons left, it all just dried up.
Is that why some of the portals don't work?
Yeah, they're starting to fade out too, one by one. Well, I gotta get back home and do some damage control. Come visit anytime you like.
Sure. I'm kind of with you on that, like, Is that a true Aussie accent? If you ever want to listen to an actual legitimate Australian accent, go watch Captain Marvel.
Now I have to find out what that nasty sorceress has done to my home while I was locked up.
I'm dead serious, by the way. Oh god, what's his name? The guy who plays Krennic. Who played Krennic over in Rogue One? Anyways, that actor is a innate Australian, and he has a Australian accent. So he actually uses that accent while doing his role in Captain Marvel, his innate normal accent. It's really weird to hear it, because most of the time he tries to do a faux British accent.
Hiya, Sheila. While you were gone, a bunch of Rhinox kicked us out of our houses. It's okay, though. Bobby, Pete, and I are working on a clever plan to take them back.
So, different playable characters. Let me just say that on paper, I'm already in favor of this idea. Let's see how this actually works out. So we got... Whoa! Oh my gosh. That's it, Ben Mendelsohn. Who is actually a really good actor, too. I'm quite fond of him in almost every role he's in. So we can't run at all. Looks like we can't do the super jump while we're in water. Ooh. There's a couple of terminologies for that easel game. One is shotgunning ideas. The other is, you know, just throwing at the wall and seeing what sticks. Sometimes referred to as spaghetti. Lol, Juanta. I kind of like how she moves so far. So, she moves a lot like Frog Mario in Super Mario Bros. 3. Like, there's a noticeable, like, I don't have control in between hops. So I'm basically, I'm basically controlling in between hops there.
Looks like this one was your double jump. Press the jump button, then press it again exactly...
Yeah, I've already done that. Thanks! There we go. So, favorite Zelda gameplay-wise, what do you guys think? That's a tricky one for me, since my favorite Zeldas is like 4 games, depending on my mood. Ah, that's what a head bash is. Yeah, I know, right, Casual? Like, most of the time, the way I distinguish my favorite Zeldas actually leans on the story side of things. Those are to differentiate the different games, Catbread writes. 1, 2, and 3. Speaking of which, I suppose we should go ahead and differentiate now that we're on 3. Alright, what, Easel? Like what, man? What'd I miss? Lord knows I'm blind, dumb, and stupid, but what'd I miss? They're delicious, though, Gum Gum. Yeah, let's go ahead and set up those slashes now that we're on the 3rd game. Well, I already did there. So no additional gameplay negatives for 2, at least not that I saw. No story pluses or negatives so far. We might just be at a flat story 0, the way this is going. There we go. Okay.
Hey, Sheila, let's play a joke. Takes this egg and smash it on Billy's house, okay? I need to get him back for the last time he butted me off the cliff.
How about we just have the egg hatch? Okay. I think I'm going to go with a tie between Link Between Worlds and Twilight Princess for my favorite gameplay Zeldas. Yes, I've been debating that this entire time. Hey, Don. Shouldn't you be getting ready for GDQ? Yeah, by the way, for those of you not aware, obviously GDQ is next week, so we'll be hosting them. And my good friends Gary and Don will both actually be there. I don't know if they'll actually be on camera again. That's up to them. And the camera people. No, not as runners, they're just attending. You gotta make sure to pack the Switch! Yeah, like I said, I'm probably going to have to skip out on 4.Fiesta this year, which really sucks, but whatever. ultimately I can't really justify it, you know? There's just too many other things I have to do. Yeah, by the way, Don, I mentioned this to Gary, too. Isn't it just me, or is that first stage just packed with awesome games?
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Like, even he agrees. He being Wolf Moose. Or Wolf Moose? I'm not sure how to say that. Well, first of all, thank you very much. Wolf Moose? Wolf Moose? Help me out. As ever, much appreciate your support. Thank you. Wolf. But you didn't say which one! We'll go with Wolf Moose. Wolf Moose sounds right. I'm glad you like the rumination stuff. Has anyone voted for a Persona 5 rumination? No. So the way that works is about once a year I have a whole process I go through where people vote for and then nominate and then vote for ruminations. And I do that once a year. And then we just set up the whole next year's ruminations in advance. You can actually find a full list on my website, lowrunner.com. Yeah, I call it the floodgates. And so if you look at my website and you look in the right-hand column, you'll see the full list of every rumination coming out for the rest of this year, because that's already planned out. Now, in October of this year, we'll be setting up the new floodgates. And last year, Atlas was on the forbidden list for various reasons I don't feel like getting into, but it is no longer on the forbidden list, which means someone could hypothetically ask for a Persona thing, and it could get voted in. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll find out in October. Now, since you're new to me, the way this works is if you put in a donation, you could say, hey, you know, I'd really like you to stream such and such. So if you would like... Yeah, kind of easel. So if there's anything, speaking of my website, if there's any streams on my website that sound interesting to you that you'd like to put that money towards, you can absolutely do that. You don't have to, of course.
Thanks for that help, Sheila. Oh, you can have this egg I found in my house.
Thanks.
If you ever forget how to control a character or vehicle, just go to the pause menu and select controls.
I'm missing an egg. Alright, where's the egg, Easel? Where is it? Where is it? You can do it, Platty. Resist! Resist! Aha! Double aha! You could theoretically put money towards a new game. However, the way that usually works is if a new game... let me give you a hypothetical, because this has happened. Let's say some person's like, man, I really want you to stream blah. And I'm like, okay, sure. I'll put it on the list. And then, you know, months pass by, and no one else puts any interest in it, and no one else puts any money towards it. So it's just sitting there at $5 and one person for, you know, several months. What usually happens, because there's already a huge list and I want to make the website relatively visible, is I go ahead and pull it back off the list. Now what happens when I do that is I ask the person next time I see them, hey, you know, we went ahead and discontinued that run. Would you like to redistribute that? Would you like to put it towards something else? So that's always the proviso I give people when they want to suggest a new run. It is the Help Billy Get Home egg.
Home at last.
The Last of Us. Okay, so... Would you like to put that towards The Last of Us 2 instead? Because I've already gone through The Last of Us. Now, I didn't do a stream of it, but I did a rumination of it. I suppose we could hypothetically add it as a potential stream, although I'd really rather not play through that game again. I didn't mean to easel, but yeah, we 100% of that level. Yeah, we've already done a rumination on Last of Us 1, but again, is not actually a stream, but whatever. Okay, so I'll put it towards 2. You got it. I'd really rather not hazardous. Okay, so Wolfmus, putting that towards The Last of Us 2. So noted. And thank you. Sorry for the hassle. I like to be organized and weird. So, what's Kyle like as a character? Which one was Kyle? Is he the green hat? Oh god, I'm back to playing Spyro. Yeah, okay. Reorient. We're okay. Green hat's the one who's, like, the stereotypical good guy. The one who gets a little bit on the preachy side and is basically forces people to... try to follow their conscience and stuff like that.
Oh my! Can you help us? Hordes of ferocious Rhinox have overrun our town and kidnapped the mayor.
Well, welcome to Greekland. Now, if it's not obvious, Wolfmus, since we've been discussing Zelda's South Park and his GDQ, these runs especially tend to be kind of chill runs. So in other words, as I usually say to people when they first poke their heads in here, if you have any thoughts, comments, questions...
Let me catch my breath, and then I'll kick that other guy's butt.
Thoughts, comments, questions, things you want to share, things you want to talk about. This is effectively a chill run, even though it is a premiere run. But what I'm trying to say is I like talking to my viewers, because you guys are awesome. Except for you. See, the whole point of that joke is to see who decides that I am referring to them. That's okay. Although I would kill for donuts right now. I would kill all of these rhinoceroses for a donut. All of them.
This Rhinoc is too big to charge. You'll have to flame him using the attack button.
Ah! I mean, you saw the guy, right? It's okay, Permeus. You're not awesome. You're breathtaking. Anyways, thank you, Ice Tray, for the sub given to Wolfmus. You know the rules, Ice Tray. How'd you like to deal with it? Suikoden 2, you got it. Let me jot that down real quick. So noted. And thank you as always, Ice Tray. I love the fact that his tongue is just dangling out there. Look at that! Oh my gosh.
Hi, Spyro. Each time a fairy zaps you, like this, It means your progress has been saved. If you get into trouble, you'll return to the last place you got zapped.
I don't know, it depends on how many people keep using it. Like, in order for it to really be a meme, it has to be properly and well used. And I didn't see a lot of that during E3. Just a lot of things that might be meme-worthy. I haven't seen that one repeated, Hazardous. At least not, you know, outside of Reddit status. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, that's pretty noticeable. Unlike in 2. What? I've seen a couple of those, Hazardous. See you around, Ice Tray. Okay, you want to hear something really sad? This goes back to something Dakota mentioned, and I mentioned this too, on the first day of streaming Spyro 1. Sometimes the colors are oh my god. Sometimes the colors are sufficiently difficult to distinguish that I can't tell what color my health bar is. So I just glanced down at my controller. For those of you not aware, you see that kind of glow right there? It's right at the top. That actually changes color based on your health. That's all just like, if you ever see me just kind of glance down... Here, actually, there's a better way to show it. If you ever see me glance down, I'm checking my health.
Thanks for the help, but I think I could have worn him down sooner or later.
I can't wait to not play this on the Switch. Also, you saw this guy chase the chicken in here, right? Just pointing it out. Yeah, exactly, but I have trouble seeing him sometimes on screen, especially when I'm moving around at a quick pace.
Thank you for rescuing our town. As mayor, I award you with one of our famous giant chicken eggs.
That's... okay. That's the same thing the other one did. What the hell?
That was the ugliest chicken I've ever seen.
No, I believe you, Gum Gum. So what I said was Kyle is the good guy, the stereotypical good guy. He is somewhat devout, but he's also the one who tends to be the most mouthpiece for the actual authors. In a good way, actually. Most of the really cool messages of the show over the years have come out of his mouth. Hey, Aleph. See you around, Wolfmus. I do hope to see you in the future. If not, that's okay, too. Oh, sorry. So that's generally his role, personality-wise. He is the one who will do the moral thing, try to help people, blah, 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 blah. He is, in many ways, pretty much the exact opposite of Cartman. Okay, so is it this one, I think? Oh, I understand, Aleph, trust me. Hopefully nothing too bad. Whoop, hello. See you around, Don. Have good lunches. Well, 3 is decently fun so far. We'll see what I think of it more on later. Oh, I don't remember Hazardous. Which is funny, because that's actually one of... Oops. It's actually one of my favorite episodes of South Park, and I can't even remember. We need to decide exactly what happens in the economy. Okay, chop off the head of a chicken and play a kazoo while it slowly dies. And whatever it lands on, that's what we're going to do to the economy. Oh, that's a different episode. Sorry. Yes, he was literally a Jesus allegory in the Dead episode, which is not the one I was thinking of. The episode I was referencing is my favorite South Park episode by quite a while. It's one of those excellent examples where the parody is so ridiculous, it actually wraps around to being sincere. And I have to admit I'm biased because, you know, economic geek. But let's just say that sometimes the economy really is decided by things as absolutely ridiculous as, equivalently, a chicken with its head chopped off running around and landing on a random square while someone plays a kazoo. Yes, Gum Gum.
There are Rhinox everywhere. Maybe I can find some peace and quiet at the top of this tower.
Alas, I have lost my love. She's being guarded by evil Rhinox at the top of yonder tower. Can you rescue her for me?
Oh, Stan's a good guy, too. It's just... Green Hat is the stereotypical good guy person. It's not really an insult. As I said, a lot of the stuff I tend to like from that show comes out of his mouth. Well, now that I know why, I mean, I was already following your advice, Valvedrix, but now that I know why, I will definitely do that. What, she has fall damage, Easel? That would actually be kind of horrible. Guess we could test it. Oh, gotcha. I also really liked the Family Guy two-parter of South Park. Speaking of South Park episodes I'm rather fond of. Yes, I have, Hazardous. That's the Cthulhu episode. We're sorry we accidentally unleashed eldritch horrors on the world. Sorry. Yeah, no, I've seen that one. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's actually the Super Friends episode. Not Super Friends, that's the wrong term. The secret power of Mysterion. Captain Hindsight, what do we do? They should have done these 5 things. You're absolutely right. Oh, I can't die. Why don't you remember? Why don't you ever remember? Okay. Sure. Through the cracks, so to speak.
What? Marco sent you here. I've got a restraining order against him.
Okay. See? Dragons are dogs when they're young. No, Hazardous. I have seen the Soft League Baseball one, though. We're experts at losing. Yes, James Hogan. It really was. There was a lot of money and a lot of interest put towards this game. There's a reason it's basically the next thing we streamed when we hit Phase 2 of streaming. Still missing 2 eggs. The only thing that was more requested than this was Breath of the Wild. Which we already did. Now, where the hell was I? Right. I don't remember that one, Hazardous.
Hey, Spyro. I found this gladiator training arena that also makes for a pretty cool skate park. Care for a test of your boarding skills?
Sure.
Bet you can't catch all 15 lizards running around here. Just come back if you want some boarding tips from the master.
Okay. Funnily enough, I actually did play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I forget which one. So don't ask me which one, but I did play it. Just the one. I never played the Skate series. Funnily enough, I could never actually skateboard in real life. Now, rollerblading, I was actually pretty good at that. I loved rollerblading. Me and my dad one time rented some rollerblades and went out to a very hilly city in Southern California. That was a lot of fun. Aw. Didn't nail it. That's okay. I know exactly why I stopped rollerblading. Pretty sure I'd be physically incapable of doing it now. Anyone hear something kind of weird? Hang on, Hazardous. I had trouble roller skating. Like, I could do it if I really concentrated, but I always had trouble doing it. Roller blading, by contrast, just clicked immediately. South Park quote. And it's gone! Probably my favorite South Park quote of all time. From probably my favorite South Park episode of all time. Well, it was the only one I could think of off the top of my head, so that's what you get, Hazardous. You get nothing! You lose, sir! Damn it. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly I orient the board in midair, because the controls don't really make sense to me. Yeah, I've actually never seen the Member Berries episode. Funnily enough, I didn't actually care for the WoW episode that much. It was amusing enough. It was just kind of like, yeah, okay. In my opinion, the best part of the WoW episode was the way how Mr. Marsh was just getting way too into it. That didn't work. Whatever. Now, granted, that's usually one of the funniest things about Randy in general. But, you know, whatever. Like, it's like him in-game and he's dying. Oh, horrible death scene. And then it cuts to Randy on vent doing his death scene. Yeah, yeah. Anyways. Randy's probably my second favorite South Park character. And you guys already know my favorite. It was, although they had to change the name, Loner. How do I get to that one? He's in a weird spot. Oh, I see how. I see how. I see how. I don't know, Johnny Mo.
Hey, that was great! And while you were boarding, I found this in a lizard burrow.
Thanks. Well, he's also an example of one of South Park's most common jokes. The straight-faced presentation of the absurd. And I know it's their most common joke, and I don't care because I find it funny almost every time they do it, so I'm with it. Eh. Wait, I'm missing an egg. Where am I missing an egg? But I'm missing an egg, Easel. You lied. You lied. Oh, God dang it. Damn it, Hunter. Why do you exist? Yeah, probably hazardous. It's a unique talent to take something allegorical, make it look like it's something incredibly absurd, but it's actually just as horrible as the real-life allegory.
Alright, if you can catch all the lizards before time expires without
God.
wiping out, I might be able to scrounge up another...
I'm gonna try this once. Once. Especially since I still don't know how to not wipe out, which is one of the conditions. Aren't they paying attention to us? I mean, it's true, Alex. He doesn't have any reason to exist. Oh, and we're done.
Ah, too bad. Go get him.
Yep, totally going to get them. Favorite Tony Hawk game? All of them! I think I've played one of them. Pretty sure. I mean, I've never liked Mr. Slave. I've always thought he's just a crude joke. Nothing funny about him. Or interesting. The one and only time... Hey, there's Not Evil Lady.
Look out, Hunter. It's the scary sorceress.
I've warned you already. This place isn't safe for small dragons and pussycats.
Huh? Thanks, but I think we can look after ourselves.
Try looking after this.
What species is she supposed to be?
Come back when you finish witch school, okay?
Say, is it just me, or is she kind of cute when she's angry?
Right. Anyways. So that's those two. I got two more that I know of. Yeah, pretty much casual. Oh yeah, Mr. Slave sucks, the end. No, there was one time I thought Mr. Slave was an okay character. It was actually in the Paris Hilton episode. It was when a whole bunch of girls were... The trend was for all the girls to be as slutty as possible. And so Mr. Slave challenged Paris Hilton to a slut-off, and Mr. Slave won. And everyone cheered him, and he's like, why are you cheering me? This is a bad thing. I liked that. That was the one and only time I've liked Mr. Slave. That I can think of.
The Rhinox have shut down our cloud generator, and I may never see a rainbow again.
Yeah, rainbows kind of suck anyways. Of course, they're irritating. They get everywhere.
If my wings were big and strong like yours, I could easily glide across here.
I think your wings are actually about the same size as mine.
The metal armor those enemies are wearing protects them from your dragon flame. If you hold down the charge button, you can defeat them with your charge attack.
Gosh, I like Jimmy in almost everything he's in. Oh, speaking of which. So I'm not sure I could pick out one specific thing I like most about Jimmy. Same with Timmy. I would probably buy that Plutonia if such a thing were available. There was also the Crips and the Bloods episode, which Timmy and Jimmy were in, which was pretty good. I mean, that happens a lot in fiction, honestly, Gum Gum. Usually creators don't actually have the capacity to predict who exactly it is that's going to be popular when it comes to their own character designs.
Well, well, if it isn't my favorite dragon. The sorceress has put me in charge of guarding these bellows. However, I might look the other way if I was distracted. Counting gems?
Sure, whatever. No way, you doofus!
What? No? What else are you going to do with all those gems? 5 flying lessons? Ha ha! That was a good one.
Just for you, Easel.
Oh, yes. Precious, precious gems. Well then, Spyro, you may now use the bellows anytime you wish. Best of luck on your little egg hunt.
Which one are you referring to specifically, Hazardous? Or are you just referring to the show in general? In which case, never mind. Oh, Cartman.
To get your longest glide, press the jump button at the very top of your jump, and use...
Yep. So, one of my favorite episodes before the economics episode was actually a Cartman-centric one. Scott Tenorman. That's all I'm going to say about that. And I'd rather you not actually detail that in chat, if that's okay, since this is a Spyro stream. You're getting a little bit too straying here, I think. But I will admit, first of all, I'm not evil, but I did find that wildly hilarious. First MMO RPG I've ever played. I suppose that would be Neverwinter Nights. If that doesn't count, it would be Ultima Online. If that doesn't count, it would be EverQuest.
Activated the bellows. Maybe I can get the cloud generator working again. The Rhinox must have been using this thing to clog up the cloud generator.
That's not an efficient clog, I gotta say. Telling you, Easel. Okay, we're going way up here. Whoa! Way up here.
We usually wake up our rain cloud at the crack of dawn, but these mischievous spirits are stopping our bells from ringing.
So, you remember these guys? 'Cause I do. I'm gonna hear these guys in my nightmares for a month. A little too early. Why does he have glasses fresh out of the egg? I'm just wondering. I ain't here to judge. Good morning, Cody. How is your day going? Who are you? I am Brian. I am a dragon of tax collection. No, anything but that. It's the most feared and terrible of all dragons. What? Okay. No. Wake up, wake up. I have not, no, Baron. The dragons don't really have that kind of culture going. They're not inclined towards nations. I know what you're thinking. Lore, why not? Aren't they sentient sapient beings? Yeah, but there's two reasons for that. That's terrifying, Hezris.
Do you want this doodad? It fell out of the belfry.
Sure. So reason number one. As I've mentioned before, dragons in the extant are absolutely terrifying. They are apex predators on a galactic scale, as I like to say. So they are really, really, really powerful. I could probably name on one hand the other species that outweigh a dragon in terms of strength. We done here? Looks like we're done here. Okay. Hang on. Reason two. So in other words, I basically can't let the dragons become a nation because otherwise they'll just win. They'll be too high tier, right?
Our sun has gone out. We can make a new one with our lava fusion cauldron and 3 sun seeds, but they keep burning out before we can get them in the pot.
I think if your star has gone out, you have bigger issues.
Step on the switch to get a fresh sun seed and keep flaming it until you get it into the pot.
Basically, yeah, Baron. And unlike some writers, in my setting, the Borg would win. Well, I mean, okay, no, they wouldn't. But you get my point. If I was writing Star Trek, the Borg would probably win. Because they're the Borg. Anyways. So, that's problem number one. But, of course, that's an out-of-character answer. So my in-character answer is actually a lot more basic. Yes, I see that they have shades, damn it. The in-character answer is that, despite the fact that they are sentient sapient beings, they simply don't need technology or culture or nationality. In other words, they have a form of social evolution that isn't happening because the impetus for said evolution does not exist. Let me put it to you another way. If you have all the advantages, innate magic, tremendous power, blah blah blah, what do you need with a hammer? Now, that's actually a bad example, and there are things you could use from such a thing, but the point is, in real-life terms, in realistic terms, I should say, it doesn't just naturally follow through. Intelligence needs to naturally follow a logical necessity of existence. So yeah, that's the in-universe reason. The dragons are just so powerful, they don't need things like nations or cooperation or whatever. So they never really developed it. There are a few exceptions, of course, but they are exceptions. I actually need to rename one of my dragons, because I gave him a placeholder name, and I've never actually sat down and given him a new name. But he's actually a member of the Empire, and he's one of those exceptions I mentioned. Basically, yeah, Baron. Nah, I think Alduin should have been, you know, not pathetic. I mean, honestly, the problem with Alduin is the fact that he's got the whole destiny, fate, you know, entropy thing going on for him. So I don't think he technically had a choice. Do I have to just repeat this? Do I just have to do this 3 times? Okay, I can do this 3 times, sure. Oh, you're gonna follow a different path each time. Okay, yep, I'm with it. And it is, of course, timed, because they'll run out after a bit. That poor Orca. He's still up there, too. He sure looks like it, Plutonia. Wow. He runs out quick. Yikes. Buy 7-Up.
Now that's what I call a sun. Here, you can have this last sun seed as a souvenir. Think it might be a dud, though.
It's actually funny you mentioned that, Baron. One of the little side stories I have bouncing around in my head was an idea of exactly that. That one of the dragons was Pepsi Man! One of the dragons was trying to unify the other dragons, basically to form a dragon nation. He didn't actually have evil aspirations for it, it's worth noting. He wasn't like, and we should conquer the galaxy. He just thought that this whole nations idea thing was pretty neat, and he thought that, you know, the dragons should take their place in galactic society as a people. This left the Empire in a very strange position, because a dragon nation would be a terrifying force, as I've already alluded to. So one of Placeholder Dragon's stories is basically preventing that from happening. In a way that doesn't involve being evil in the process. Politically, Alex. Although, both, really. No genocide. We only genocide... I don't know, whatever irritates me. Yeah, exactly, Baron. The whole point of that story was to showcase just how dangerous and difficult it is to try and be a good organization while still being politically active. I mean, there's a lot of easy answers to that equation if the Empire just decides to be evil. But then again, I've actually often felt that one of the more definitive definitions of the word evil is lazy. You know, being willing to do something that's quicker and easier because screw it. No, I did not, Hazardous. That should be all of them? Nope. What am I missing? That is all of them. Why didn't I get a thing? I'm gonna go and be OCD just a little bit, because I'm missing 5 rupees. I mean, gems. Oh, that would explain it, Easel. Ugh, almost. Oh, by the way, Dragon Monk, while we're talking about the whole suffix thing. Is it literally a horn of a dragon, or is that just a terminology thing, Gum Gum? Boop. Yeah, no kidding, Dakota. One of the ideas I liked that Warcraft kinda used well and kinda didn't was the idea of the chromatic flight. Because the whole point was the chromatic flight was supposed to be, you know, this terrifying force of doom. Neat idea. They didn't really do all that much with it, though. Oh, I must go to the exit portal. You don't understand. Yes, Baron. So dragon in my setting is more of a classification than a species. There is a gargantuan variety of dragons. Mentally, the way I think of it is that there's effectively no real limit to the type and variety of dragons. I've designed a few, but yeah. Okay, so that's this one. We did that one, so we need to go do this level next. After we kill some sheep. Die, sheep.
At last, my portal is working again. Come visit me at the Tiki Lodge.
Rhinox are running rampant around here, but I can't get anyone out of the Tiki Lodge long enough to do anything about it.
I mean, yeah, I can see that, Namie. Absolutely. Whoop. Definition of a dragoon. If I'm being honest, I usually in fantasy I usually tend to lean towards basically the FF dragoon, someone who has some kind of connection to the air element, in order to allow them to magically be able to, you know, that kind of a thing. Very technical terminology there, I know. But yeah, basically Cain, or Freya, for example. Now, in a more mundane setting, I would say a dragoon is simply a form of a lancer, whether knighted or otherwise. What are we on here? We're on the Reignited. No, Easel. So, Easel, could I go and ask a favor? In the interest of expediency, I'm curious how many eggs and gems I will need for this game.
Be sure to keep your friend Sparks the Dragonfly healthy, Spyro. If his health is low, torch a little creature like the slug below me to release a butterfly.
100 eggs. I can do that. Those darn gargoyles. Always getting in the way. I think in a mundane setting, I would probably have dragoons be predominantly mounted. I'd have to think about that, but yeah. In a fantastical setting, a dragoon does not need a mount.
Here, take this egg. They were giving them away at the Tiki Lodge last night.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the Paladin thing, Pillars of Snow. If you look up Paladin in real-life terminology, it means something a little bit different.
Spyro, you're just in time. I saw 2 egg thieves run through this door. Well, actually, they paid me to guard their hideout, but that's irrelevant. I'll happily let you through the gate to chase them down for a small finder's fee.
Get lost, loser.
Very well, Spyro. It's up to you. Maybe if we both just hold hands and think happy thoughts, the thieves will decide to return the eggs themselves.
Wow.
Thank you, Spyro. And best of luck catching those dastardly egg thieves.
Lol, Juanto. Oh no, I think it could absolutely work, Omega Legion. We've talked before about how to make a Dragoon, a Final Fantasy Dragoon, work in an action RPG. And I think we can make that work with how fluid and dynamic the engine is of World of Warcraft.
Are you the dragon looking for all those eggs? Because I saw a shifty-looking character with one over there.
In FF14, functionally speaking, this is not counting the new stuff, because I know they're changing how Dragoons work. But functionally speaking, the Dragoons basically have charges and dodges, is the simplest way to put that. For example, you have the jump, which is hunk, hunk, and then you have just the jump. And then you have the jump, which moves back, you know, that kind of a thing. Which works, by the way. I'm not trying to sound dismissive. I'm just saying that's how it has worked to date. I could see a Dragoon working in a Spectacle Fighter. One of the aspects of Dragoon design in an ARPG that I actually liked was in Dissidia Duodecim. I have no idea in FF11. In Dissidia Duodecim, you have an ability where you literally leap up and then you start ramming down very quickly, and you can steer as you are coming down. So basically, whoop, and then you can steer yourself a little bit as you're coming straight down, which I thought was awesome and could make for some very wonderful attacks. So, you know, that could be a thing too. Uh-oh. It's a thief guy! I would also love to just play as Zaldin from Kingdom Hearts 2, but that's neither here nor there. I know what you're thinking, but you can in 358. No, you can't. You could play a stripped-down, pathetic version of Zaldin in 358. .358 did have gameplay, technically. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll agree with that sentence. I don't even think I'm catching him. Oh, maybe I am. It's hard to tell. So what am I doing wrong here? Because I'm sure there's something I'm doing wrong here. I'm just trying to bomb jump this like an idiot. Yeah, no, they're not dogs at all.
Hey, there goes another one. He was really fast. Maybe if I activate the supercharge, you'll be able to catch him.
Well, okay. Then do it, you jackass. Not that I could think of, Gum Gum. Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a potential story arc, but I've never thought of one, no. Probably helps that the military is literally the main in-charge structure of the Empire. Was it you who asked me the governmental style of the Empire? Because that was such a hell of a question that I'm pretty sure I didn't answer that on the spot. Oh, Jesus, this is hard to do. There we go. Go ahead, Hazardous. Dragon-human hybrids, no. I've actually... Unfortunately, in part thanks to Primus... That's weird. In part thanks to Primus, I have put thought into which species can breed with which other species. Because you need to think about that. I mean, it's logical, right? So, basically, humans actually can't breed with most creatures. Go figure. I'll tell you who can breed with most creatures. Elves. Nevertheless, there is still no half-elf, half-dragon thing. Good morning, Blackfile. We are in 3, yes. I might be done here until I can rescue this guy. Confirm, did I? Because I'm only missing 2 eggs right now. That's what I thought. Correct, Cody. It is not like Pathfinder. So, like, for example, let me use a... What's a... I'm actually not sure I can come up with an example, Hazardous. No, I get what you're asking, but I'm having trouble coming up with an example of it. Because, so what Hazardous is asking is, let's say a game does something that's good. At what, how much time or what would have to happen for that to just become norm?
Well, it looks like it's just...
In other words, at what point in time would that stop being a positive and become a neutral? See, I can give you kind of an example of what we're talking about. For example, skippable cutscenes is not a positive. Skippable cutscenes is something that is mandatory. Ergo, it's something that is a neutral. It is the absence of skippable cutscenes that is a negative. So, to kind of go along with this, you could say, well, when were skippable cutscenes added to gameplay design, and how long did it take for that to become accepted? As I've pointed out several times, skippable cutscenes have been a thing since the NES era. So that's why it's kind of hard to come up with an example here, because that's an old concept.
Do you like the active camera?
Yes, I'm fine. God dang it. Let's get some health really quick. We could also kind of lump this into the concept of how we qualify codifiers. Or not codifiers, sorry, innovators. Although we do actually keep track of codifiers as well. So, for example, the ability to invert controls goes back to the SNES era. That is, again, a very old concept. That's nothing new. And that's kind of the problem, is most things that I consider to be expected aspects of game design are nice and old. They've been around for a while. So in short, I'm not sure that's a thing that can happen. I'm not saying it can't, I'm just saying as of this exact point in time, I'm not sure I could envision a situation in which that would happen this way. Because, yeah, I see it. See, the problem, Hazardous, is, again, pluses and minuses don't really have a lot to do with tech. It's more about design. Now, that's important, because most of the concepts of what is considered good game design have been around since games have kind of been a thing. Now, that's not 100% true, But basically, what I usually call the NES era, which was the early PC era, the late Commodore era, the late Amiga era, and of course, the NES era, that era is basically when a lot of the core concepts that we still to this day consider good design were codified. Were innovated and codified and turned into something that became the norm. So, for example, you say different resolutions. Why would that ever be a positive? Why is the ability to change how the scale of my screen anything other than just a duh? And also, that's not really design. That's tech. It is. I basically don't review tech. I'm not review tech USA. You know, the ability to go into windowed mode. Nope. You know, that's not that's not part of this. The limited ability to save ever not be a negative. Hypothetically, I could see a situation where it could be. Very hypothetically. Like, okay, I got an example. An ability where a limited ability to save is a good thing. Rogue Legacy. There you go. Yeah, you could see why my answer Hazardous was basically maybe, but I can't think of an example. Because, I mean, what do you got? So, okay, to use an example, because this is relevant to our current topic. The ability to record voice acting in a game is pure tech. That's something that was a technological feat. It had nothing to do with design. The implementation of the design of voice acting, that's on the design line of things. So, for example, having someone say a sentence and actually say it, but as a buzzing bee, that's a design choice. They could have easily had him had normal voice acting, or they could have had him say and not actually time up. But if you were paying attention, he actually said he actually followed the text. So that's a design thing, and as a design thing, that would be something that would be counted. And now we're playing Superman. No, I'm kidding. This is weird. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So, if you're wondering what the heck I was talking about, the design, so this is again goes back to design, the design of that speed level is completely different from the ones in 1 and 2. First of all, you don't get time increases for getting stuff. Second of all, there was a very distinct path you were supposed to follow, rather than basically like a few arcs that are followed by a few scattershot items. So, that was a lot easier. I don't know if I'd consider that better, but it was definitely easier. It's a lot less frustrating, that's for certain. The downside of this method is if you make a mistake, it's over. Because of the limited time value, you have one shot at this, and that is it. whereas the other method allowed for a little bit of recovery. It also means so the other method also had the advantage of allowing you to do it in basically whatever way you kind of wanted to do it in. Whereas in this one, you really do have to follow the path. So basically, design-wise, this is technically worse, even though it's functionally easier. Make of that what you will. By the way, hi, Okona. Give me just a second, and I will respond in more detail. You'll also notice the time they give you is far more forgiving. Especially once you figure out the patterns. See? Second try. Okay, hi Okona. Yeah, I figured this would give an egg. That's why I was bothering. Always good to see more Star Trek fans. I am glad you like the Star Trek stuff. At least I hope you like the Star Trek stuff. Either way, welcome to my stream. As I like to say, shoutouts, don't be a stranger. Thoughts, comments, questions, hatreds. You know, I like to chat with my viewers, as I say. Okay, so what am I trying to do? Do I get the red things? Do I care about the red things? Oh, jeez. Okay, okay. Ooh. Little trick here. That's okay. That's just the guideline, okay. Yeah, whatever. I'm guessing the goal is just to win. Wow, I can just burn them. That is so horrible. I have no idea, Hazardous. I got nothing to go off of there. Yeah, I have to. Yeesh. You guys are fast. Get back here. Damn it. I haven't gotten that one both times now. Ah, Measure Man. Let me guess, you saw it through that other guy's video about it, the lawyer. I'm not gonna do this one. I'm gonna say yes, because popularity doesn't really mean anything. I mean, the most popular movie of all time is Avatar. You know, what do I need to add to that? Yeah, I'm gonna fail. There's no way. Because he just passed the finish line, so I am in second now. So where's Hunter? Looking for a mushroom. Looking for a mushroom. Gotta kill all the mushrooms. I mean, the lawyer's review is pretty much spot on. I noticed he didn't mention the fact that the writer of that episode was a lawyer. Alright, since I basically have infinite time here, let's go find him. Where is he? Hunter! Hunter! Where are you, Hunter? Well, the problem, Aleph, is how exactly do you define popularity? And the problem is most people define popularity based on how many times something has been viewed. Basically, eyeballs. That one! You've got it, Easel. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, you ready for this, Easel? This is 1. This is 2. That one's 3, and that one's 4. Okay, apparently it's 2. Hey, what's up, Hunter?
Whoa! A bunch of sheep and flying saucers just came out of nowhere and started blasting up the race course. Looks like I'll have to hop in my plane and teach him some manners. Look out, sheep! Here I come!
Okay. At least this isn't timed. Which is funny, because I think I mentioned that, Akona.
Whoa! Looks like... Look at...
I could be wrong. I thought I mentioned that. Jesus! That hurt box is huge!
Look at...
See, the problem is... Oh my god.
Whoa! Looks... Look at...
The problem is Avatar is ludicrously in the lead on that, even on that measure, Aleph. Which is stupid! Yeah, the plane's made of paper. Sheesh. There's the other one. There it is.
Woohoo! Check it out! The squad leader had abducted this egg.
I guess that is true with regards to adjusted for inflation. No, we're good. I'm well aware that Endgame is close to Avatar, but let's be honest, guys, Endgame is not going to surpass Avatar until it either gets a second release, a second boost, or when it hits home release. That is when it'll officially pass Avatar. Right now, Avatar is still in the lead, and it actually legitimately aggravates me that Avatar is going to remain the best-selling film of all time globally. That it's just going to hold on to that record. That I cannot put into words how much that frustrates me. Cool, Bragwin. Theoretically cool, anyways. I mean, don't mistake me. Avatar is a film. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you. Sure. But Avatar being the best-selling film of all time, which it has been for years, is just... I can't put into words how much that pisses me off.
Yay! My portal is working. I'll see you at the beach.
Yeah. I've used it for exactly that for some time, Aleph. It is only recently I've come up with an even better example for success not equaling quality. And that would be Jurassic World. For those of you not aware, Jurassic World is among the best-selling films of all time. Somehow.
While I was gone, my friends borrowed the Rhinox submarine. Then they took it for a joyride. And then they smashed it into a big pile of rocks. Oddly enough, the Rhinox failed to see the humor in their actions and stuffed my friends in the jail cell behind you.
Gee, it's almost like you were a jackass and broke their thing. But of course, I'm on your side because I'm a 90s kid. I mean, you're right, Hazardous, but as Aleph points out, Jurassic World did sell very well domestically as well. I guess if I was lamenting anything, Loner, it's the fact that... I don't know how to phrase this. It's a combination of things. But it irritates me when something that isn't that great does wonderfully well financially. Because not only is that kind of aggravating, you know, just from a basic level, but there's also the fact that it's people who are in charge of deciding what gets to be made or not, you know, the money people, will look at that and say, oh, well, that made a ton of money. Right? It's one of the biggest problems and reasons for bullet point syndrome. And then on top of that, it is also something that people will use as a legitimate argument for something's quality by saying that it is very successful. Now, as always, there's a whole bunch of gray in between all of these concepts, but you could probably see why this concept irritates me so much. Because, and there's one final reason, by the way. The final reason is because things that are, really, really good have a tendency to not sell well, especially when they come out. I actually have an entire lorium for that concept, which is Princess Bride syndrome. I can name a lot of things off the top of my head that are really great fictional works that just bombed when they came out. And of course, it's trope namer, Princess Bride, which sold very, very badly when it came out in theaters.
If you want a quick summary of your progress in a world, you can press the guidebook button to open the guidebook page for the world you're in.
Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. Huh. That's cool. I mean, we could name quite a few works that are considered classics or phenomenal things that, didn't sell well when they came out. My two favorite examples, I've already given you one of them, Princess Bride. The other one is Earthbound, a SNES RPG on the off chance you've never heard of it, which is considered by many to be one of the better RPGs of the era, which sold terribly when it came out, especially in the States. I will never forget, I actually saw a stream once. I don't remember what the stream was. I think it was a speedrun. And in the stream, the actual English localizer, well, one of the main English localizers for Earthbound, was in the stream watching. And people were just gushing about the game. And the translator basically broke down and started crying. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why? Because for years, he kind of lived with the idea that the thing he poured his heart and soul into... By the way, for those of you not aware, the Earthbound localization had a lot of effort put into it. So he really worked on that sucker. For years, he thought the thing he poured his heart and soul into was a failure because of how badly it bombed. Literally seeing people unprompted talking about how amazing the thing was that he worked on was just such a relief and a... I don't know what to call it. Validation. That's the word I want to use. It was such a validating thing for him. He had a whole interview about this. And you're right, I need to go find that Easel Games. Because it's a great thing. But my point is, that's the final reason why the mediocre stuff is financially successful thing irritates me. Is because it more or less indirectly causes that exact problem. What's funny is quality stuff, thanks to the nature of just media and the distribution of fans and information and the way the world works, inevitably stuff that is of quality tends to actually be found by people. But that's over time. And doesn't always help salvage the in-the-moment situation.
You can hover to get more distance when gliding.
Yes, I know, thank you. It does easily, you're right. This is not as much of a problem as it was back in the 80s and 90s. I know the scene you're talking about, Cody. Van Gogh. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, except in real life instead of a show. Now I'm trying to think of an example of the other thing I wanted to mention, because sometimes what happens is a creative team gets together and they've got an idea and they make a thing and it bombs. So the creative team basically breaks up and they can't make it anymore. Then later on it does very well, and then I'm like, oh my gosh. But by that point there's no chance to do anything more with the franchise because it bombed and everyone just kind of separated and went their own ways. Or the company died. I know there's examples of that, I just can't come up with any off the top of my head. Help me out, guys. It's one of the reasons why I tend to refer to us getting lucky when it comes to things like Star Trek, which honestly should not have turned into the franchise it is, as I've said many times. And when I say should not, I mean, obviously, I don't mean like it didn't deserve to. I mean, logically speaking, it should have been another Princess Bride situation. But we got lucky. We got Star Trek II, which is arguably the earliest point at which we could trace back the proliferation of Star Trek II. Yeah, Rare is a good example of that. That is a very good example of that. Actually, yeah, everything to do with the Final Fantasy XII thing, the expanded universe and the sequels that were supposed to be for Final Fantasy XII that didn't happen, is another good example of that. But yeah, in the off chance you haven't seen my Star Trek ruminations, I'm just going to say very briefly that Star Trek II basically revitalized interest, both financially and creatively, in the Star Trek franchise, which then immediately and directly led to Star Trek III and Star Trek IV. Now, Star Trek III was kind of a flop financially, but Star Trek IV was a smash hit.
My plan worked. That dumb octopus dropped the jail key while he was shaking me. Now I can free my friends. Oh, I forgot to tell you. One of the Rhinox had this egg in his lunchbox.
It'd be more accurate to say that Star Trek IV led to TNG. Which is why I say that led to the proliferation of Star Trek, because basically, if you were to look at it this way, financially speaking, the reason Star Trek got going was because Star Trek II happened, which got the ball rolling. Then Star Trek IV happened, which was a smash hit. That got TNG started, but TNG Season 1 is TNG Season 1. I actually defend TNG Season 1 more than most people I know, and I still admit that it's just lacking in quality. But it was bolstered by Star Trek IV, which enabled it to keep going longer than it probably should have. That led to Star Trek TNG Season 2 and 3, which came out right about when Star Trek V happened. So TNG managed to keep the movies, help the movies keep going, so there was enough interest and creative push for Star Trek VI to happen. Now, Star Trek VI still nearly didn't happen, but I've told that story before. Point being, TNG and the movies just kind of helped bolster each other until we got Star Trek VI out, which was a pretty big boost. And then by that point, we were in Season 4 and 5 of TNG, which is also known as the best seasons. So, you get the idea. Kingdoms of Amalur. Oh my god, that was such a mess. That was such a mess. I don't know Omega Legion off the top of my head. I know that they've commented on it briefly, but I don't remember specifics off the top of my head. I like Kingdoms of Amalur too. It's a good game. I'm hopeful that now that THQ Nordic has picked it up, we'll actually get a continuation of it. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of things died in the wake of the original THQ self-destructing. Just... I don't understand what you're asking me, Gum Gum. What joke? Yeah, THQ, the original THQ self-destructing.
Ludo the Rhinoc has challenged us to a naval battle. Our speedboat versus his nuclear shark submarine. If we win, we'll get the dragon egg he's guarding. If we lose, we'll have to spend a month doing kitchen patrol. What do you say?
Sure.
Okay, good luck.
But yeah, the original THQ's death was just, oh my god. It's hard to properly explain how much of an impact that had on the video game industry as a whole. Because it had a huge impact on the video game industry as a whole. Oh my god, these controls are so strange. Really, Zalok? The problem is, Alex, it really was a colossal mess. I don't think I could even properly summarize it. Is he repairing? Jackass. To be completely and 100% blunt, even though THQ obviously made some mistakes there, I actually put the majority of the blame of that on the state of Rhode Island. That's just my opinion, not a statement of fact. Go this way! Oh my god, game. Ugh. These controls are hard to explain how bad they are. It's like they're partially relative to him and partially relative to the camera. And so I try to turn, left, and instead I swivel the exact opposite direction. This is very strange. Like that. I'm just like, no, go this way.
Wow, that's the first time Pluto has ever lost. You dragons must have a ton of talent. I hope this egg was worth all the trouble.
No, Baron. That's the problem, Alex. It really was a confusing mess. It was a... They secured funding from the state, but in so doing set up some provisos that they shouldn't have. That's the part that's their fault. Then the state decided to try and come calling for the financial figures based on, let's call it, inaccurate data, possibly misleading data, which then directly led to the legal issues, which, well, I don't know if you're aware of this, but lawyers are expensive, and so are judges. For those of you not aware, when it comes to civil suits and corporate suits, you have to actually buy a judge. I don't mean like you buy him and he goes your way. I mean you have to purchase his time, or her time. So, in order to be able to buy your way into a court at all, costs literally in the 6-digit range. That's just to begin a court battle. And I point that out because that's one of the reasons why those kind of court battles actually cause so many issues when it comes to companies and video game developers and blah, 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 blah. It's because that can literally double their budget. So... The first actor to play James Kirk was William Shatner. I don't actually know, Nerozes. Yeah, I don't want to get into controversial territory, but the legal system of the United States is absolutely bonkers. And it is regardless of my opinion of its quality, the amount of money black hole that the United States legal system is huge. And that's not an opinion, that is a fact.
Dragon egg for you.
but instead I used it to test our ultra-high-speed super fluidity tunnel. The good news is that it made it to the end of the tunnel without a scratch. The bad news is that there's no way to get it back out now. The tunnel is chock full of Rhinox and floating mines. The only way to retrieve that egg is to defeat every single Rhinox in the tunnel.
Well, that sounds terrible. Let's do it. Where are there Rhinox and mines in this tunnel? Oh, screw you. Good, Blackball. Get some positive news in here. We need more positive news in our lives.
Have to defeat.
Oh wow, it actually just cancels out if you miss one. Oh my god, this is not good. Well, okay, before you link any videos, Gum Gum, god damn it! Why don't you go ahead and explain to me what you're asking? Like, what is the point of your question? Because I didn't understand that either. If you're asking why someone was doing an impression of Jim Statner, it's because impressions tend to be considered comedy in their own right. Binary difficulty is not good. Blah-da-da-da-da-ba-da-ba-da-boo. Speaking of which, while I'm on the subject, I think I'm willing to give a negative to this game. Not just 3, actually. More specifically, all 3. Because all 3 follow one aspect of game design that I, personally, consider to be usually a negative, and that is binary difficulty. One mistake, and it's over. And I don't like that. I never have.
This egg has surprisingly good fluid dynamic characteristics. From now on, all of our submarines will be egg-shaped.
Honestly, in another game, it would probably be multiple negatives. They're starting to repeat these animations, you notice? But yeah, in another game, this would be multiple negatives, but this game does actually do a few things to help mitigate the aggravation of that, like the instant reset. That's actually a good thing, as weird as that may sound. Imagine how much worse it would be if, for example, you're like, alright, turn around and go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, we're back, talk to the NPC, start the thing again, and go. Right? There's plenty of ways that could be much worse. That is why it is only one negative. Exactly, Olive. There we go. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and give that. That's a negative for all 3. So I don't know where to put that. So we'll just put it there. And say screw it. Alright, who just it was Puff of Logic. Thank you very, very much, a Puff of Logic. As ever and as always. Appreciate the sub, thank you. Do you know what you want to put that towards? Yeah, I get what you're referencing, Gungam. I just don't understand what the question is. No, I agree, Alex. These games could be much, much worse than they are. They're not, but they could be. So, Okona asks, do I have a favorite genre or style of video games? I'm not sure that I do. I know that sounds like a kind of a cop-out. Yeah, good games. That's a good way to put it. Well, to good games. I'll watch that later, honestly. I mean, I've been a video game player since, well, depends on how you define it. Since I was single digit. Since about 85, I want to say. Something like that. So, yeah, I mean... It's hard for you to find a type of video game that I don't actually like. It's possible, but it's hard. Hazardous says story games. Well, that's not true either, because I was thinking of the various types of side-scroller games, which are usually very light on story. You know, Mega Man games like Shovel Knight, or precision platformers like Bloodstained. So, no, games with lots of lore are not at the very top of the list. I mean, I guess you could say that since WoW, Dragon Age Origins, and Final Fantasy VI tend to be towards the top of the list, and all three of those are RPGs. So, Easel, there's 2 eggs I'm missing here. Any tips? When did that become a thing? Oh, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, I'm into bullet hells. There's a bullet hell on PC, which actually I highly recommend, called Battle Android Cactus, I think? I think that's the name of it. I'm not actually sure. But it's one I highly recommend. You can find it on Steam, so it's on PC. I think there's on a few things otherwise. It is a surprisingly good and enjoyable bullet hell. And it's also full co-op, which, you know, it should be. Thank you, Dakota. I mean, I've done that, Easel. I've played Call of Duty 5 on the Wii, co-op, with Gary. You can ask him about it.
Oh, hi, Spyro. Some of my seal friends are trying to take down a Rhinoc fortress. I'm about to go lend a foot. I love the smell of singed Rhinoc in the morning.
It's pretty horrible, but okay. Okay. Jeez, alright, hang on. This way. I mean, I hate that kind of thing personally, Baron, but that's because I tend to hate losing progress in general. Especially if it's badly implemented. God dang it! Okay, this is gonna be fun, I can tell. Thoughts on Bloodstained? Well, I mean, Curse of the Moon is, in my opinion, at least in the running for one of the best Castlevania games ever made. Make of that what you will. Oh, come on! Oh, Jesus. Alright, what am I doing wrong? Like, that feels way too tight a timing. I've got to be screwing up somehow. Okay, Easel says there's another way to double jump. Ah! Did you guys know I have a double jump? Because I didn't. Anyways.
Hi, Sheila. The Rhinox have built a fortress on our beach, and we're going to blow it to smithereens. We just need you to take out all the turrets for us. We're lighting the bomb now, so just make sure to stomp all those turrets before the fuse runs out, okay?
I've actually seen that already, Hazardous, but that is still a good story to share. Ugh. So, preference, old... Oh god, we're timed. Old Battlestar Galactica or new Battlestar Galactica? I'm asking you guys, because I don't like either. Go ahead, hate me. It's okay. Well, the old one is cheesy and ridiculous, which isn't really my thing. The new one is...
Really smart. Ready to try stomping? Yippee! Oh.
The new one is grimdark and horrible. Like, way too much for me to tolerate. Oh, I see what you mean. 'Cause I nearly died trying to do it, but at least I see what you're talking about now. There we go. Looks like I have to get the barrel. Oh, so much worse than Star Trek Discovery. What's the name of the actress that played Ro Laren in Star Trek TNG?
Wow! I can't believe I survived that blast. It's a good thing I kept this egg nice and safe in my pocket.
Where? In fact, you don't have a pocket. Anyways, yes, Michelle Forbes. Everything about Michelle Forbes in Battlestar Galactica is something that I can't deal with. Like, I can't even think about it. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. That's just nope. All kinds of nope. I should get that health up while I'm here. Oh, I like action in Star Trek. I just have issues with other things in Star Trek. Like Quentin Tarantino. Which I don't even want to talk about that, honestly. Okay. Yep, that's it. I mean, there's 13 gems. We're not going to get those. That would be insane. No, we're not. We're not. We're actually not. I guess we can just exit. Fine, fine. We'll exit. Yeah, let's go take on the first boss, and then we'll pause for the day. And for the day, I mean for lunch. It's okay, I actually have lunch this time, so I don't have to cook it.
Let's head on over to the balloon.
Oh, that sucks, Easel, but okay. So let's see how the bosses handle, because I was reasonably impressed with the bosses in 2.
Listen carefully, you stupid girl. I'm only going to ask you one more time. Why haven't you disposed of that infernal dragon?
I've tried to scare him off, Your Highness, but he's just not afraid of anything.
Not afraid? Not afraid? Why have I been training you all these years? Use some magic! Here's a spell book. Whip up a monster and eliminate him!
Kill him?
I don't care what you do, you useless brat, as long as you get rid of him!
Okay, let's see what
Yeah, no, she's totally going to be a good guy by the end.
This ought to do it.
See you around, Aleph.
You can't keep me caged up in here forever. You there! Get me out of here! This is unacceptable!
You, come here.
Oh my. What the devil?
Okay. Is Bragwin on? Bragwin, are you there?
When I heard the sorceress was planning to ambush you, I got here as fast as I could. No worries, though. This wussy green toad will be no match for the two of us.
Speaking of which. Interesting. So his headbutting you doesn't actually damage you, and it's recoverable. Not bad. You can also headbutt him when he's in the air. I was about to say, Mario 64 all of a sudden. Damn it. Fine, fine, fine. I mean, I wouldn't, Hazardous. I wouldn't even bother paying attention to him. Why bother? He's just an idiot. Some people have this weird thing about trying to make sure that other people don't enjoy things. It's very bizarre. Abrams' Trek is okay, although honestly, I really only like one of the 3 movies. I'd go with Crunchy, Pillars of Snow. Or don't. No, it's the 3rd one, Huthor. I couldn't think of the name of it, but yeah, the 3rd one. Oh yeah, the first one was ultimately just forgettable fluff for me. Into Darkness had competent ideas, but one of the worst scripts I've ever seen. No surprise, given who wrote it. And Beyond was actually pretty decent in several respects, and face-palmingly awful in several others. happens when I run out of lives? I don't care whether Spock has a girlfriend or not, so I suppose that's my answer of that one. Yeah, but what happens when you game over? Like, how much progress do I lose is kind of the real question here. My biggest complaints with the third movie by far was everything to do with the villains. The villain was ineffectual, disinteresting, and a little too creepy for me. Like, I didn't like where they were going with that. Honestly, even Idris Elba didn't really salvage that for me. And I like him as an actor. That's true, Geludo. All 4 Abrams villains haven't really been all that great for me. I won't forget, Easel. Hopefully. Like, I didn't like Admiral Obviously Evil. Khan was okay. But honestly, the only reason Khan was okay was because of a combination of the director and the actor. Which I know sounds like a weird statement, but what I mean is he was written pretty badly, in my opinion. Which, it makes sense, given the quality of that film's script in general. God damn it. I literally lost control there. No, what they said, Gum Gum, was that it was not Khan. In some of the pre-release material, they flat out said it was not Khan. Yeah, like that. I just lose control every now and again. It's the same exact issue I was having with the earlier shark torpedo thing. My controls are literally not correct here because they'll lock on camera, which is very frustrating. Like, I literally cannot move as quickly as I am trying to. Okay, sure. Really, Huthor? Well, that's it, guys. Huthor officially is evil. And insane. He doesn't like the Wrath of Khan. Nope, that didn't work either. Okay, whatever. Thought I'd try something new. Didn't work out. Early id platformer controls, camera controls. They had camera controls? I'm not actually joking. I don't remember there being any, really. Come on. We've already seen that animation. 100%, yeah. Nothing it makes more sense to me, Huthor. Like, if you actually didn't like it, we'd have to have a talk. Holy crap, man. But no, I get you. I get you. There are plenty of things where people are just like, oh, this is so amazing and it means so much to me. And I'm just like, I got nothing. Like Avatar The Last Airbender. I mean, it's a competent show. I would never say it's a bad show. It's just... okay. You know, it's never done anything for me.
Okay, Dragon. You've managed to survive longer than I expected. But you haven't the slightest idea what sort of dangers lie ahead of you. I suggest you grab your cat friend and whatever eggs you found and hightail it back home while you still can. I'm telling you this for your own good, you know.
Yeah, no, just join our side. In fact, I want to play as her. She sounds like she'd be fun. I do like Oreos. I even like, one of my favorite things to do when I feel like it is to go find different flavors, new flavors of Oreos I haven't tried before and try them out. Unfortunately, here in the States, they're usually seasonal. So I have to check every now and again at the grocery store to see if they've got a new flavor in. Yeah, red velvet Oreos are among my favorite. I'm also particularly fond of the, like, pumpkin pie Oreos. What they do is they basically have this surprisingly good graham cracker shell and then, you know, pumpkin flavored filling. Mint Oreos are amazing, but then again, I'm a very big fan of mint in general. That's a thing that I understand not everyone likes. Mint is one of those weird, you know, some people love it, some people don't. They have a watermelon Oreo, Dawn? Dude, when was that? I need to make that a thing. Oh, red peppermint would be amazing. I love mint. I love mint. They have these Russell Stover's chocolate square. It's basically red peppermint bark with a little bit of dark chocolate on the bottom. And those might actually be my favorite candy of all time. They're at the very least in the running because they're so good. Oh my god, they're so good. I've seen the root beer one. I never actually tried that one. Anyways, all of this is a roundabout way of saying that Huthor is not insane. I was obviously kidding. It should be obvious when I'm being sarcastic like that. And I get where he's coming from. Have you ever looked at the prices of Oreos on Amazon? Because they are not cheap, especially out of season. I say this because I've looked into it, although I need to see if I could find any more. Are Oreos the perfect cookie? No, the perfect cookie is the kind that your sister bakes for you just because she loves you. Yeah, that's why I don't get Canada Dry on Amazon as well. Yeah, no, I'm... sorry, Gum Gum. Let me make this clear. I'm not responding to that. That is one of the very rare occasions where I'm actually going to just straight up ignore the question. But I should say that out loud, and I apologize for not doing so. No, I would say insanity's a bad thing, except unless you're Gary. I need to practice this speech, because Gary once gave me the perfect way to vary... So some people ask me every now and again, what's the difference between crazy and insane? Because they're two very different things. And then there's also mad, but that's another thing. Crazy is... I could totally take this dungeon without leveling at all. Or, I'm gonna charge that tank with nothing but a rocket launcher. You know, that's crazy. Insane is slathering some mayo on top of a cardboard box, and then taking it upstairs and putting it in the corner. Jesus, Easel, that's crazy. That's nuts. And the whole point is, it's very reasonable. It's very reasonable. Just take it upstairs, put it on the corner. It's all good. Very neat. Gary actually came up with that comparison. And what's funny is he just came up with the cardboard box thing just on the fly. Because Gary's insane, whereas I'm crazy. I'm not actually insane, I am crazy. He's not crazy, he is insane. So we make an interesting compliment to each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and chop off the local recording.